Hello everybody, Argonus here, and I bet you can tell with the title of the video that this is going to be a little out there, maybe a little open-ended. Typically when people ask the question, or hear the question, what is Dungeons & Dragons? Usually the retort is, isn't it that nerd game that all those nerds play? Or maybe it's that religion that worships Matthew Mercer. Well, both of these answers are true. They don't technically get to the nuts and bolts of what is Dungeons & Dragons. It's also got a bit of an air of, it's probably too complicated, or isn't there weird occult stuff, or... No. It's a board game. But it's easier than a board game, because you don't even need a board. In fact, to properly play Dungeons & Dragons, you don't even need to buy anything. So, to play a game of Dungeons & Dragons, all you need is a group of people. One of these people is going to hold the title of Dungeon Master. Don't worry, it's not as shady as it sounds. The Dungeon Master's job, let's call it, is hosting the game. You're probably not going to be a Dungeon Master your first time, and that's a good thing. You're going to be a player. All you have to do is sit down with someone that knows how to play the game, or has a player's handbook, or find a creation guide online. Pick what fantasy race you want. These include, but are not limited to, half-elf, half-orc, halfling, gnome, human, elf, dwarf, lizard person, turtle person. You can even make one. Each one of these comes with their own individual stats, and hopefully someone will help you along the way, but ultimately it's your first game, so you don't need to worry about anything. Just pick a race, and then pick a class. Do you want to be someone who does magic? Do you want to be someone that stabs a guy? Now we just narrow that down a little more. How do you like to stab someone? Do you often do it behind their back? And you're probably going to be a rogue. Are you wanting to put steel against steel in a fight against epic swordsmiths? Probably going to want to be a fighter. Do you just want to hit something on the head? Probably going to be a barbarian. Now, a little complicated when it comes to magic. Do you want to get your magic from years of studying and devotion to the arcane arts? Wizard. Do you want to just be born with it? Sorcerer. Do you want to have made a dark deal with the devil to get those powers? Warlock. Do you want to get those powers because you prayed to the Lord? Cleric. Do you want powers just because nature said you were a good boy? Druid. I know what you're thinking. Wow, they really cared more about the magic. Yes. Yes, they did. But all of that is besides the point. Find something that sounds fun to you. Because like a wise man once said, if it's not fun, what's the point? Now, we still haven't really answered the question, what is Dungeons & Dragons? All Dungeons & Dragons is a collection of people. Players have their characters. The Dungeon Master, the one who's hosting the game, well, he's the Matrix. He makes the world. He defines the rules. He explains how things go, and he presents the drama, story elements, and altercations that'll ultimately make this game fun instead of you guys just sitting in a room together. Now, I know a lot of that doesn't make sense to you right now, but don't worry, it will. Your Dungeon Master will explain everything about the world to you that you need to know to play the game. World? What are you talking about, Alex? This is where the imagination part comes in. Nothing's really happening, but you're all sitting there and getting lost together, imagining these scenarios taking part, imagining the world that the Dungeon Master's built. He explains scenarios, and you just react however your character would react. Before you know it, you're slipping in to the character, and you can see yourself in the world, probably starting in a tavern, probably about to get a quest. It won't take long once you've started playing that you realize it's just like playing a role. You're just being someone else for a little while playing a game. Occasionally things will happen. It's up to you as the player to determine how your character handles those things. If somebody comes up to you and accosts you with foul language at the beginning of the game, are you just gonna stab them? Because the character you've created, well, no one talks to them that way. Maybe you want to hear their side because your character that you've created is a humble cleric who's just trying to help the world as best he can. What if you just don't care and just keep on walking? I don't know. You don't know. And that's Dungeons and Dragons. The Dungeon Master creates a world, and then we inhabit it, play around in it, try our best to accomplish the goals that the Dungeon Master wants, but we might not. And that's how the Dungeon Master has fun. I know I said at the beginning of this that I would tell you what Dungeons and Dragons is, and believe me, it feels like I have. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I haven't. Dungeons and Dragons is so much more than a game where you play some person. It's pizza and beer with the buds. It's storytelling. It's just for a brief 4 hours in the week. You don't have to worry about the boss, what errands you have to run the next day. You just gotta worry about killing a dragon. And at the end of the day, isn't that what we all want to do? Oh, and also occasionally there are dungeons. If you enjoyed that video, why not hit the like button? Might as well subscribe as well, as I'm regularly dropping content here. Also, go ahead and check the description to find out all the other ways to get a hold of me, be it my Twitter or my Twitch page. Thanks again, and hope to see you soon.